on the ones and twos. Feeling great. How you feeling, Brad, man? We live. Let's go get it. Well, how you feeling?
Feeling great. It's a Kansas City weekend. All roads lead to Kansas City, Missouri. It's going to be a big-time mini Super Bowl for Buffalo once again. Seems like every time they go down there, it's a mini Super Bowl. So we'll see how they handle the pressure. We know Josh Allen handled it well last time. We'll see. They're getting a lot of their guys are coming back for this game. They rested guys last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And my man over there, Vision Barbershop, man, I don't know what's going on with your Steelers, man. I haven't heard from you in a while. We got to talk about them hopefully sometime next week. But, man, they were looking pitiful last week. But we're going to get right into the show right away, Fanatic. Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency is our lead sponsor. Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, located at 1038 Lyle Avenue and 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give Miriam Rivera a call. She handles my insurance, my auto and home insurance, and she's saving me an awful lot of money. And she can save you and your family money too at Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. Auto, home, health, and life insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue, 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Call 585-360-0094. And we're going to go right to the first interview. She sponsors the show in the first interview of this week. And it's the Ken Dorsey interview talking about Kahlil Shakur. This young man might be a diamond in the rough. He could make a difference the rest of this season coming in and getting more playing time. Let's hear what Ken Dorsey has to say about Kahlil Shakur.
Yes, good afternoon, Coach Dorsey. George Radney, Challenger Community News. How you doing today?
Good. How are you, George?
Great. Just wanted to follow up with you. With Kahlil Shakur, were those plays, did he get a chance to practice with the offense? Because it looked like those were some nice safe throws to him, especially the bubble screen one. When you have guys that's not obviously he's the third man in line on there. Was those some plays that he get opportunity to practice during any given week?
Well, I mean, just the flow of practice. I mean, there's certain plays where guys are in on, and then there's certain plays where they're not. So, you have certain packages where somebody's going to be in on them, and then you just have general packages where you kind of are able to roll guys through. So at times, there are plays where he's going to be in on and get him in practice, but there's times where, they just have to do a great job preparing and being ready to step in and know what to do when their number's called.
Okay, so it's almost like you call the play for him in the game and say, oh, man, I hope he is ready to function during the game. So
and that's the thing. I mean, I think he's done a great job of preparing himself where, I feel very confident calling anything we need to call, and he's able to operate it, and knows exactly what to do and is in the right spots. So, he's really, really earned that trust through, what he's done and throughout his time here, from his work ethic to showing up on game day whenever his number's called.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, and good luck this coming week.
Thank you.
There you have it. Diamond in the rough. He's the future slot receiver for the Bills, but guess what? The future is now. It's now. We had injury, Jamison Crowder injury that I mentioned with the broken ankle in the Baltimore game. When I saw that air cast go on and him get carted to the locker room, I said, man, that's one guy the Buffalo Bills will miss dearly on the offensive side of the ball, Jamison Crowder. But this young man, Kahlil Shakur from Boise State, he's stepping his game up already. Had a very good game this past week against the Steelers as well. And you can see Josh Allen is very comfortable with getting the ball to him also on the offensive side of the ball. But
hey, Radman, just on that, hey, what do you think about what's the role now? It looks like Isaiah McKenzie coming back this week. How do you feel like touches or route shares? How do you see that going between the two?
I think it's going to be the route sharing. I think with Isaiah McKenzie coming back, that's going to help out Kahlil a little bit more because they're putting him back on punts and also probably kickoffs as well. So his plate is starting to get a little full. They're going to have him slide him in to give a blow to Isaiah McKenzie whenever need be. I think with the guys coming back, Gabriel Davis starting to look better on that ankle. He had a great game against the Steelers last week. We'll get to see. I think they'll be sharing time and sharing these guys in the proper fashion. And because they have depth, the Bills have some great quality players on that practice. We still got Duke Johnson on the practice squad, y'all. Duke Johnson's outstanding. He can be starting for a lot of teams in the National Football League right now, and he's on the Bills practice squad just in case something comes up with James Cook. And James Cook's starting to get some more touches. You're right about him. Give him as many touches as possible throughout the season to get him up to speed with the speed of the National Football League for James Cook.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think James Cook, now this is the game. James Cook, he getting no touches. He might get one carry at the end of the game if it's all said and done. But James Cook, that was his game later on in the year. Like maybe when they play Green Bay, get ready to come up, that could be a bigger game for him to get some touches in. But yeah, that was a Steelers game to get his, but a big game. Like you said it, Radman, you said it best. The mini Super Bowl type event that will be Sunday at 3:25 Central Standard Time, 4:25 on the East Coast. James Cook, not a place for him. Time for all your great players. Time for them to make plays.
And let's dedicate the show. We got to get to the dedication to the Buffalo 10. Buffalo 10 is strong. That's from the masquerade over at Top Supermarket to them and their families. I see a couple of the family members drop the puck for the first hockey game there with the Buffalo Sabres. And guess what? The Sabres won the game. Oh, my God. Man, when the last time the Sabres won on opening day? Hey, they talking. Hey, I had to tell. I'm listening, guys. Man, the Sabres. I said, hey, they got 81 more games to go, y'all. Hold on now. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm happy they won that first game, but let's see them after game 30 and game 40, and then I'll start making my idea of what the Sabres team looks like. But it's hard to win with a 41-year-old goalie, Craig Anderson. Man, he was with the Amherst. He won the Calder Cup with that 1997 team here in Rochester. I'm like, man, that man's still playing hockey, man, at a professional level. Man, God bless you, Anderson. Man, number 41, the goal. He's big, but hey, man, he's still in there. The jury's out, but the Buffalo 10, we salute you. And what other dedication? Ramsey Lewis. I was unaware that Ramsey Lewis, the great jazz musician, made his transition a few weeks ago. I don't want to be remiss about that. We dedicate this show to the legend of jazz himself. He hosts a show called Legends of Jazz, and he's a legend himself. The one and only Mr. Ramsey Lewis. We dedicate the show to you as well.
No doubt. I got two. One that passed on. Super sad. And I know we're going to talk baseball, but the Philadelphia Phillies had a minor league prospect just 20 years old. He was so Corey Phelan, I dedicate this to you. I love baseball, love growing up. Only 20 years old, had his whole life in front of him. Diagnosed with cancer in April, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in April 2022, and passed away here this week. So just sad to be so young. So yes. Not a well-known person, but a really great prospect. Came straight out of high school, tried to get up to the minor leagues ranks, and but was 20 years old. So Corey Phelan, dedicate this to you. Not a household name, but definitely I love baseball and saw that and wanted to shout him out. And another one, just a speedy recovery to, of course, Western New York, basically Syracuse area, Mike Hart. He's a running back coach for the University of Michigan. Yes. Great player, great running back coming out of like the Onondaga area. Great running back for Michigan. Made it to the league. Just had a seizure last weekend. So he is on the mend and got some friends over there in that program at the U of Michigan. They saying he's on the up and up. So I definitely want to shout him out and dedicate this show to him having a speedy recovery. Last but not least, still can't believe since February 17th, Brittany Griner, we're going to continue to shout her out. It is crazy that Russia is what they're doing to invade Ukraine. Got that terrible on that realm, but especially just to capture an American, again, allegedly. Everybody thinks, some people still think Brittany Griner was convicted that she did do this, and she deserves this. This is all just a political play by Putin and his administration. So free Brittany Griner, been in there, been locked up since February 17th. I can't imagine. They talk about her mental capacity or mental fragility is now coming into effect. Of course, everybody's would. You've been locked up like an animal since February 17th. So Brittany Griner, we dedicate this show to you 8 months later, and we will continue to do so.
Yes, please, sister, stay strong. Stay mentally strong. That's the key. Stay mentally strong. I know it's tough being in those four walls. Seem like they may be closing in on you now, especially since January, because we didn't even hear about it till February, but she was really locked up in January. So it's been almost 10 months being in there. And Brittany Griner, free Brittany Griner, we with you all the way. Absolutely, all the way. And we're going to go to another interview with Bills defensive back Taron Johnson, the guy that they – Now, this is a guy that can't afford to lose. He's a top guy that covers the tight ends or covers whoever the top receiver is, one of the top tight ends on given teams. He plays almost like a linebacker sometimes because Buffalo only plays with 2 linebackers, and he's the third person out there. So he's almost like in a hybrid linebacker position from his defensive position. He makes a lot of tough key plays for the team. This is brought to you by Rock Palm Broker, 559 State Street. See Sammy Cruz and the whole crew over there? Check them out. 559 State Street, area code 585-262-9920. Rock Palm Broker brings you this interview with Buffalo Bill Taron Johnson.
Today, you always be put on the big receivers. How was it today with your defensive play? How would you rate the team's defense?
9, 8.5, around there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just the fact that they ain't scored no touchdowns, I feel like that's a huge deal. And especially with the offense we got, it's very special.
How's it feel now getting ready to head back to Kansas City again?
Feels like the next game.
Like
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just another game. You know what I'm saying? We're going to prepare and do the best that we can and see what happens.
Was there any pressure, with the safety tandem, knowing that this could be the future? How did that feel going out there with you guys doing a thing like that?
I mean, just great guys. We got they haven't been starting, but as you can see, they're definitely capable of being starters in this league. So just having that as our second unit, you know what I'm saying? That's really another first unit. It's everything to us.
How's the key with you playing? So you don't have to worry about with the safety calls and everything with them making the calls back there. You just handling your business with your role, with your
So I do listen to them. They're making calls to me in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so obviously you have confidence in them.
Oh, 100%. I mean, not only I haven't had many game reps, but I have a lot of practice reps with them. So, yeah, I feel comfortable.
How's it next week with Kelsey and those guys coming out?
I mean, we're gonna get the game plan from the coaches, and we're just gonna go out there and execute.
All righty.
That's
man, this game over already, man. This game been over, man.
Yeah.
I gotta talk Kansas City.
Yeah.
So you just started filming. What was the last thing there before Vaughn got in there?
Kansas City. I mean, we gonna get the game plan from the coaches first because they got to set it up, and then we just gonna go out there and execute.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. There you heard it from Taron Johnson with a little sidebar for Von Miller. He wanted to know, why are y'all talking about Kansas City already? What's going on? Man, I got to watch out for Von. He's good for jumping in.
He jumping in and sound like he always like to jump in and sound like.
Yeah, every week, exactly. I think that's one of his things. Is part of his routine there. It's like, we're like, oh, wait a minute, man. The game was over at halftime. We're trying to talk about this. We get this next week content. But as Taron was saying, even with the young Damar Hamlin and also Jaquan Johnson back there and playing the safety positions, he's comfortable because he's had the reps with him in practice, and they're able to get the job done. And they sure did get the job done. You didn't see no drop off at all against a Pittsburgh Steelers team. But now is the real test. And I do believe Jordan Poyer will be back for this one tomorrow at GEHA at Arrowhead Stadium coming up. And our first guest of the day, Mike Davidson, is coming up next. We're gonna go to Kansas City. As we were saying, this is a Kansas City weekend, and we're gonna start it off. Remember his interview. Mike Davidson is brought to us by Challenger Community News, largest weekly African-American newspaper in all of Western New York. African-American newspaper, thechallengernews.com, or you can pick it up at various locations throughout the community. Worldwide News, Calvin's Magic Wings, City Hall. You know about Fanatic. You know about Calvin's Magic Wings, right?
Hey, man, have your taste buds dancing. It almost feel like I've been in Louisiana with that good old wings, man. Love Calvin's.
Yeah, that man got some serious sauce up for those wings over there.
Yeah,
so you can pick up, when you pick up your wings, pick up the Challenger Community News, Strong Hospital, various government buildings, and throughout the community, Challenger Community News. And without further ado, we're going to go to the Kansas City historian, Mr. Mike Davidson. Mr. Mike Davidson. We're going to bring Mike Davidson on. Good morning, Mike. How you doing this morning?
George, good morning. Thank you very much. Everything's going well here, and it's nice to reconnect with you again. Thank you very much.
Same here. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. And we want to talk to you about the Hall of Honor. How did that Hall of Honor, and it's inside Arrowhead Stadium, how did that Hall of Honor come about?
Well, George, as you remember, last January, you and I met down in there, and we had a very nice visit. And I'm glad we get a chance to reconnect. So, Lamar Hunt, our founder, our late founder, owner, real simply, he, as a young man in Dallas, Texas, after he graduated from college, he wanted to own a professional football team in the NFL. He actually went to the NFL to see if they would expand. They weren't interested in expanding. He did try to buy the Chicago Cardinals. That didn't work out. So very naively and very quite simply, he said he was going to have to start a new football league. And so in 1960, he launched the American Football League, or the AFL, which those of you in Buffalo are very familiar with from over the years. His team was in Dallas. They were called the Dallas Texans. And in 1960, he launched this new football league. And he was very proud of that league, very proud of the owners, which they referred to themselves as the Foolish Club, what the original owners in when the league first started. And so Lamar also always wanted to honor the American Football League and all the other teams. And if you recall, George, when you were walking through our Hall of Honor, we were honoring all 10 AFL teams, including the 8 original teams plus Cincinnati and Miami, who were expansion teams in their 10-year existence. So Lamar was very proud. He knew he couldn't have done this new football league without these other owners and these other teams. So in 2010, we actually did put in a Hall of Honor honoring not just the Dallas Texans, Kansas City Chiefs, which is our franchise, but all the other teams also. And a year ago, we did a complete total renovation to it. And it's basically Lamar's wanting to honor the history and the legacy of the American Football League. So that's how it all came about.
Outstanding. And it's really a museum. Even you call it hall, I mean, it's almost like a museum on that second level of the stadium. So if you're going to the game tomorrow, get there a little early, and I guarantee you're going to enjoy this. It's almost like walking in a museum inside a football stadium and seeing all. And now you have interactive. Can you tell us a little bit about the interactive activities there?
Yeah, and so for any guests that are coming to the game tomorrow, if you bought a ticket to the game, you have access to our Hall of Honor. It's not a separate fee. It's right on the second level main concourse, as you well know. We have interactives with it. We actually have an interactive that tells the history of the American Football League, and it goes through all 10 years, and each team each year is represented. So all you need to do is go to the interactive, pick the season. You could pick the Buffalo Bills from their championship years in '65. And there's a if you click on the little dot on that, you will see a little story about that season. We do that for every AFL team that is in all 10 AFL teams throughout the 10-year history. We also have interactives for our every game that we've ever played in this franchise history, as well as every player that's ever been on our roster. And then for our Chiefs Hall of Fame, our inductees, we have interactives where you can touch on each one of their names and photos, and then it will bring you up even deeper into more photos and videos for our players. We also we honor the merger, the AFL NFL rivalry, the merger between the two leagues, as well as many other exhibits that we have displayed. We just recently put in a display for Len Dawson, who recently passed away. We have one exhibit in there with Len with the jersey and AFL football, as well as a football that he had signed.
Excellent, excellent. And I love the videos, the old, and you have restored the old footage from various football games. And Fanatic, you would love this one about the Boston Patriots back in, I believe it was 1960. Fanatic, the Patriots were playing somebody, I can't think it might have been the Chiefs team there, and it was like 10 seconds left in the game. The quarterback for the Chiefs threw the ball down to the 1 yard. The receiver caught it at like the 1 yard line. They had timeout. The fans charged on the field. They made the police and everything, made the fans get off the field. They ran that last play. And when they ran the last play, a fan came out of the end zone and knocked the ball down to the ball looked like it was going to be completed to the receiver, but the fan came onto the field, knocked the ball down. And do you know the referees huddled up and they talked, and then they said, game over, and they ran off the field. I couldn't believe it, man. So
hey, Boston gangster, man. They some gangsters out there, man. The fans are serious.
George,
That's crazy.
So, Mike, they've been cheating since the '60s. It's not just with Tom Brady and Belichick and Josh McDaniel. Not at all, right?
no, George, remember when you see that this gentleman sneaks out onto the field, plays linebacker for the Patriots, dressed in street clothes. He's got like a rain jacket on. And the pass was coming to Chris Burford in the end zone, and this guy knocks it down. He's dancing around out there.
Right.
Anything, and off they went.
What in the world? And nobody tackled him. Nobody. Even the Boston Patriots. Nobody just said, "Wait, hold on, wait a minute." Nah, they just acted like it was all good, huh?
Yeah, he walked. What I would have liked to seen if we would have if the team would have ran a running play, if he would have tried to make a tackle at that point.
Yeah.
Right. See if he was going to really stick his head in there. And also during the off season, is it group tours? Is it open during the off season of the hall?
So George, yes, we on Fridays and Saturdays we have public tours. I think we have 8 or 9 of them every day, each day on Friday and Saturday. But you can book a private tour 7 days a week. So if you had a family in, let's say on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and you wanted to stop in Kansas City, you could book a private tour to go through the not just our Hall of Honor, but the entire stadium, which would take you down to the sideline, locker room, and all the other areas in our stadium that we have here also.
Wow, that is very unique, and it's something that people need to see. Quite Fanatic, you have any questions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey Mike, so talk to us. First of all, thank you for being here. You're looking good. Hey, you definitely need to be on the jazz program, man. Your voice just smooth, man. I love it. Or you should be doing voiceovers full time, or maybe giving tours. Who knows? I love it. Maybe with the Hall of Fame. So talk to us. Can you tell us what's one piece? If you're just saying, hey, we know about it now. What's the one, like your favorite either item or favorite story that you may want to give us a little bit of tidbits on that we can know about that we would want to come and see at the museum?
I'll give you 2. So when Lamar Hunt went down to Miami, Florida to meet with the ownership of the Chicago Cardinals, and that was before they moved to St. Louis and then Arizona, he was trying to buy the Chicago Cardinals. We couldn't work out a deal to buy them, so he got on his American Airlines flight and flew back from Miami to Dallas, where Lamar was from in Dallas, and quite literally, that's when he had, in his words, it was like a light bulb went off on his head when he decided he was going to have to start a new football league if he was to own a professional football team. So he literally borrowed American Airlines stationery on that American Airlines flight and began writing down what it would take to start a new football league. So down in our, George, I think you and I went and saw it.
Yes, you showed me it. Yes.
Down in our Hall of Honor in what we call the Foolish Club, which is in honoring of Lamar, we have that American Airlines stationery inside glass, but it's a little hard to read because Lamar's writing was real tiny, and so we digitized it on glass, and then we highlighted each line so you can see his thinking. That was the start of the American Football League.
Wow.
And it is absolutely, it's phenomenal when you just see that little piece of American Airlines stationery and what Lamar was trying to do. Now, the other thing that is in there, we have a document case of many of the documents of Lamar. The first page is the very first meeting in 1959, asking for team names and colors, a $150,000 entrance fee for each application fee for each AFL team to join the American Football League. But one of the most incredible documents that we have in there, in August of 1970, Lamar Hunt heard that Vince Lombardi, the Green Bay Packer coach, was very ill. And Lamar wrote this very compassionate, very personal letter to the commissioner, Pete Rozelle, saying he heard that Vince Lombardi was very ill. And he suggested that they rename the Super Bowl trophy the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Wow. So that was his suggestion.
I'm getting goosebumps just telling you that about that piece of document. And I've read it 100 times, and you can take a photo of it. If you come to our Hall of Honor, you can take a photo of it and read it. But it's a very compassionate letter from Lamar Hunt to the commissioner suggesting that they rename the Super Bowl trophy the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Absolutely. Like I said, Fournette, it's like a museum inside the stadium, and right there on the concourse on that second level. So if you're going to the game tomorrow, get there a little early, and please stop through that hall. You won't. I mean, and then you got this with the historical Black College and University players that came on through the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buck Buchanans, all the legendary players. You got a section for that as well. It's very well thought out and put together. And man, I was there for about a couple hours. I ended up being there and then I was there almost an hour before I met you, Mike. And then, man, I just stayed a lot longer than I expected because you have so much to see.
It tells the story of the American Football League, and as well as our franchise, but not just our franchise, but we actually have a corner down in the Lamar Hunt section where we wrote a paragraph on each team in the AFL during that 10-year period, and we have a corresponding helmet from that era that is attached to it. So it's the history of the American Football League. And George, I'm so glad you and I ran into each other down there last year or last January. And again, like you just said, it's open to anyone who bought a ticket to the game. It's located on the concourse level. It is actually on the south side of the stadium, which would be the side of the stadium that doesn't face the Royals baseball stadium. It would be the other. Yeah.
Excellent. And how can people get in contact with you if they're coming throughout the year, if they maybe want to set up a group tour or anything like that? How can they get in contact with you?
Chiefs.com, click on stadium, and then scroll to stadium tours. And that would be the way to do it.
Excellent. Well, Mike, thank you so much for taking time out. I know you got a busy schedule this morning. Appreciate you taking time to come on Real Deal Sports Show.
Excellent. George, thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your show. And will you be in town? Will we see you tomorrow?
Yes, I'll be in town tomorrow. Yes.
Why don't you just reach out to me and I'll try to meet you up there again, okay?
Look forward. I certainly will. I'll text you once I get to the stadium.
Thank you. You all take care, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, Mike. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. That was Mike Davidson. His title is Historian, and as you can see why he's a historian. He knows that museum inside and out, and that when you get to see the owners, all of them, because they even got pictures of the AFL owners all when they were young. So you get to see Buffalo people. You get to see a young Ralph Wilson, what Ralph Wilson looked like when he was a young man. All of those guys sitting there, they took a group picture when they as the AFL owners. It's amazing. I mean, it is. It's really get there early, get a chance to check out the museum known as the Hall of Honor. There. Speaking of Hall of Honor, we're honored to bring on Kansas City's finest from KC, Kansas City ESPN Radio, Kansas City, Mr. Darren Smith. And Darren Smith, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so very much for having me, getting me up early out of my bed for you all. I only do this for you because you will text me at the last minute to come on, and I will have to. It's funny. I was telling myself last night I was out late. I had to be on the Kansas side of the state line because I had to play some bets for the football games and stuff. And I'm like, is it 8:25 Eastern or Central? I'm like, God, dog. I said, let me just set my alarm clock and be up an hour earlier just to be on the safe side. So I'm here, and thank you so much for having me.
Yes, indeed. And I hope good luck with your upcoming winning. So, yes, indeed.
How do we talk about Chiefs cost me money last week? I'm not even happy about that. But that's a whole other story.
What's going on with the Chiefs? It looked like the quarterback is having right now. It looked like he's on his way to an MVP type season.
Well, being honest, he has the MVP type season every year, but the thing is that he's always been held to a different standard because the year he won the MVP, anything less than that seems to be a failure in a lot of people's eyes, which is what he does as a career year for other quarterbacks. But no, I mean, Patrick is good. He's able to play in a whole different manner without with Tyreek Hill being gone. And I keep telling people, I said, initially, when Tyreek was traded, yes, it was a shock heard around Kansas City, around the NFL world. And the question was, what were the Chiefs going to do to offset that? I thought that they made a lot of decent moves in bringing in Marquez Valdez-Scanlon and bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster. And then, with some of the draft picks that they utilized, and Sky Moore, along with Justin Watson, I thought that Kansas City, for what they got for Tyreek Hill, made a lot of good moves. Now, perhaps a OBJ could be brought in later on down the way if that's how the dice rolls. But I think that for the most part, it has made Patrick a better quarterback because he doesn't have to really take all the shots down the field that people are expecting, the fans have liked and expected. But I think because of that, it's allowed him to take less risk. So you don't see as many interceptions as he had last year. Now, a lot of the interceptions he had last year, most of it was because the wide receivers, mishandled the ball, it bounced off the shoulder pad or went through their hands or off the helmet. So I'd say out of the 13 interceptions he had last year, I think maybe 5 might have been his fault. So, but I think he only has 1 or 2 interceptions. I think he has 2 interceptions this season so far. So, I mean, I think he's doing pretty well. Yeah,
and that's amazing with the pressure he's been under too, because he's had to run out of that pocket an awful lot this season.
Yeah, it's been a trying season thus far if you're Orlando Brown Jr. I'm not sure. I don't like to speak on another man's money, but I'm not sure whether or not he's doing himself any favors when it comes to his contract situation, because he's been, I've watched games where literally in my binoculars from the press box, he's getting blown off the line, bullied and stuff like that. Now, that seems to happen early in the game, and then somehow late in the second quarter, second half, it seems to get fixed and Patrick's not under as much pressure. I would personally like to see he not being under pressure from the start of the football game,
right,
versus having to make the adjustments come halftime.
Any other linemen? Any other concerns on that offensive line?
Well, I would say if anything, maybe right tackle. I think your inside 3 with Trey Smith, Creed Humphreys, and Joe Thuney is pretty solid. I know Trey Smith missed last week's game. I expect him back Sunday against Buffalo. But I really don't have any concerns about the offensive line in general. I just think that Orlando Brown, I just think he needs to, look, if you're betting on yourself, you gotta line up and play bully football. So.
Wow. Yeah, he got to, because he's been around. That's a veteran player there.
Look, you can't be 6'9", 340 getting blown off the line. That's just that can't happen.
Absolutely. Phonetic question.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Darren, thanks for being here, especially getting up a little bit early. I know how that is being in Louisiana. But can you talk to us about Travis Kelce? Continues to just grow and get better. Keep us talk to us about what makes Travis Kelce so great.
Well, one, he's just a great guy. I know Travis off the field, and so he's just a great guy. He was one of the reasons why I didn't win my big parlay Monday night. So I'm about to have a word with him about that. 4 catches. If you look, 4 touchdown catches, they would help anybody, but I needed 72 yards. He only had 25. I ain't complaining. But no. Travis is a great guy. He's a good leader. Look, he was there obviously before Patrick and some of the lean years with Alex Smith, so to speak. But there's really nothing to not like about Kelce. He's a hard worker. Everything. He's a captain. He's a leader on this team, and people follow him. And just the rapport that he and Patrick Mahomes have. That's when you can have a player, especially when you first come in, that you can build a rapport with, and that hey, if you need that particular catch or something, that you can go to him and you can trust that he'll 99.9% will make that catch, make that play, extend the chains, and get your touchdown in the end zone. That's Travis Kelce. And obviously people love Patrick Mahomes, believe he's the MVP, but Patrick would tell you that's his MVP, because he, when the chips are down, he's one of those guys. Obviously Tyreek was, while he was here, and so now it is important. I will say for Mahomes to build a rapport with other receivers, because there will be games, and the Raiders game was like it for the most part, and it could be like that against Tampa Bay, where other players, other offensive players, MVS came up big against the Raiders last week, and then of course we'll have to see what will happen this particular weekend against the Bills. If they decide to double up on Kelsey, who else will come to the party and be able to dance along with Kelsey?
I like that. I feel you with that. Hey, we got a question from one of the commenters here. Appreciate you guys for following us and watching the show. The question is, what does Eric Bieniemy do? Since we all know that Andy Reid is one of the best play callers we've ever seen, does Eric Bieniemy do anything? And is that the reason why he hasn't gotten a head coaching job just yet?
It's funny, man. I watched this show called The Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. My guy G. Bush, Garrett Bush, the sports radio guy in Cleveland, and we had this conversation offline. But this, I mean, it's. Let me say this. First of all, no matter what I say, nobody's going to believe, and no matter what anybody else says in Kansas City, you're going to believe what you want to believe. People will believe that when the offense is scoring a lot of points, that's Andy Reid doing the play calling. When the team loses or they don't score a lot of points, that's Eric Bieniemy's fault. So, I mean, to me, you can have it both ways. So, no matter what happens, they're going to give Andy Reid the credit, and they're going to blame Eric Bieniemy because it suits whatever narrative or storyline you want to do. So, Eric Bieniemy has said, and even though Andy Reid will tell you till you blue in the face, they're just going to say that's what he's going to say because it's Eric Bieniemy. But Eric Bieniemy calls 52% of the plays. He calls the plays, and Andy Reid delegates. Like nobody talks about the defense. When the defense doesn't play bad, they blame Spags. They blame Bob Sutton, who was here. When the Chiefs lost to the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game, nobody blames the head coach for that. Now, he's a head coach. He's a CEO. He's supposed to be in charge of both or whatever. When things ain't right, he should be over there trying to, get things together. No, they just say he just does the offense. So, Eric Bieniemy calls the plays. He's the last voice that Patrick Mahomes hears. Now, as the head coach, as Eric Bieniemy says, while Andy may call 48% of the plays, he still has veto power because he's still the head coach. So he can pull rank if he wants to. So, Eric Bieniemy calls the plays. Now Andy Reid will suggest plays or suggest, hey, I may want to see this, may want to see that. Andy, and Andy is walking up and down the sidelines. He does have his car, but Eric Bieniemy is the one that's in the play call and calling the plays and stuff that goes into Patrick Mahomes' head. So, reason why he's not getting a head coach at the end of the day is because you're not going to tell a billionaire owner who they can hire. So, I mean, he's done the interview process. Players speak glowingly of him. Andy Reid speaks glowingly of him. I mean, players, outside of some, some fumble, a former running back who couldn't stop fumbling, who was gifted 2 Super Bowl titles, that happens to be a host on FS1. He's the only one that seems to have an issue with Eric Bieniemy, but no other former player, current player, has an issue, including Patrick Mahomes, with Eric Bieniemy. So, to answer your question, to why he doesn't have why he didn't have a head coaching job, I mean, I guess you'd have to ask the owners, but I mean, with the 3 of us on here, we already know what it is. So, and I
Absolutely
keep rehashing it over and over again.
Because he's go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, right, man. I'll probably pass it to you. So wait, Darren. So just so I'm going to hear that correctly, I want to make sure for our audience that's listening and we'll be watching later. You're saying so it's 52% Bieniemy, 48.
Eric Bieniemy calls the plays.
So
he calls the plays.
Fourth quarter, tight game, like on Monday night. They're coming back. Andy Reid could pull rank, but majority of the time, Eric Bieniemy's in the play sheet. He's the one talking directly to Pat Mahomes.
Well, again, Andy Reid's the head coach. He can pull rank on anybody. I mean, he can call the plays, but again, as I tell people, what's the sense you have an offensive coordinator if the head coach is going to call the plays anyway? And like I said, nobody questioned whether or not Matt Nagy or Doug Peterson were calling plays when they, nobody gave Andy Reid that credit when they were here for one season with the Chiefs before they became head coach. Nobody questioned whether or not they were the ones calling the plays.
Exactly.
And so again, read into what you will, but Eric Bieniemy calls the plays.
And he should be a head coach. We're long overdue. When you see somebody like a Nathaniel Hackett over there just messing up
look, I'll say this, and I'll probably talk about it on my pregame show tomorrow. 2:00. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That as much as I want Eric Bieniemy to have a head coaching job, sometimes it can be a blessing in disguise because you look at what's going on in Denver with Nathaniel Hackett, and then Chicago with the coach that got the head coaching gig up there. I mean, yeah, they might be Seattle might be 2-3 or 3-2 or 3-1 or what? No, they're 2-1 or whatever the record may be. But looking at how Russell Wilson's playing, looking at how Chicago is playing. Would I really want Eric Bieniemy to be suffering that? Because the first thing you think about when you're playing like that, that's why he's not a head coach. Now, when I see Nathaniel Hackett in there, I'm like, bro, you can't clock manage, you can't coach, and then on top of that, you hire somebody to come in to help you clock manage or something like that. Now, imagine if that was Eric Bieniemy who brought somebody in to help him. Do you realize the connotation of that?
Mm-hmm.
So and so nobody's really blasting Nathaniel Hackett about that. But I'm sitting there thinking, wait a second, now if Eric Bieniemy was a head coach and was to bring somebody in to help him manage stuff like that, come on now. It just
On the defensive side of the ball, what is it with the secondary? Are they improving? Because they seem like the Raiders went at them deep, went over the top on them. Just wondering. Going on? Seems like they're falling back into bad habits again. What's going on?
First of all, we got to give credit. It's Devontae Adams. I mean, if you talk between he and Cooper Kupp is the two best wide receivers. I mean, if Devontae Adams don't beat you, that's a problem. I mean, and so if you got Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp on your team, and you're not beating any defensive backs, that's a problem because those are the two best wide receivers in the league. And Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill, they're in that conversation as well. So I expect Diggs to get some good, get some plays on Sunday. I mean, I got him scoring a touchdown. I got him going for 80+ yards. So there are wide receivers that you have to respect that they should be able to get their numbers. I mean, that's just what it is. And so, they've suffered some injuries. I know they suffered some injuries this past week, and obviously with Trent McDuffie in the first game against the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm not going to say that they're falling back. I think they're much better than they were last year because they are able to get pressure. They have bigger corners that I've always advocated for them to have. Because of the receivers that they're going to be facing, they're young, they're going to be tested, they are going to make some mistakes. But for me, I think to kind of mask that, you got to make sure that you're getting pressure up front from Chris Jones and Frank Clark and Carlos Dunlap. Those veterans up there who should be able to get to the quarterback or at least put enough pressure on the quarterback that you hope that they will throw in a double coverage, make a mistake, and then allow the defensive backs to come in and do something. Now, again, based off of, you can do only so much based off your personnel and the personnel that you're going up against. And like I said, Devontae Adams, I mean, they do have a good core group of players. And the fact that Darren Waller was out, was out early in that ball game with the hamstring injury. It kind of caught me by surprise. I was wondering what happened to him, but the fact that he was hurt, and I mean, you got to remember he only had 3 catches. Now there were 3 big catches. Now 2 of them went for touchdowns. So I can't, I can't really. It's hard for me to say that they had problems because I think at the end of the day, it is Devontae Adams, and I expect him to play well because that's what I would expect from one of the top wide receivers in the game.
All righty, there you have it. What's your final for the score for this game tomorrow?
Well, now I got Kansas City winning.
I know. What's the score going to be?
I got it 42-36.
Okay, yeah, I got the over too. Yeah, I like that over.
But it ain't going in overtime. Let me just put it like that. It ain't going in overtime.
No, I bet not. We don't need no more 13 seconds. No.
Now, but I will say this though, in my parlays, I just got the over. I wasn't messing with that line. I thought about going Chiefs -2.5, but I'm like, you know, let me just do something. Let me just go with the over. The over I think is 54. So I'm like, let me.
Yeah,
I
54.
I know scores. I know touchdowns are going to be made. So I'm like, if nothing else, let me just go with a safe bet versus trying to pick a winner or loser. Because if I do that, then I might get disappointed. But at least if I go with the over, it should be good. Now if it goes under, that's an issue as well because two teams. I mean, you look at 54 points. That's 28-27. That's 55. I mean, so I think it's going to go. I think it'll go down to the wire. The only concern, the biggest concern that I have about this game for the Chiefs is that they cannot afford to get off to a slow start like they did against the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. No, they can't afford another one of those. Those slow starts definitely hurt them considerably. And one last question for you: are they talking about a new stadium? Are they talking about a possible new stadium out there?
They talking about for the Royals. I know if the Chiefs get a new stadium, they might. If the Royals somehow move downtown, they might tear down the Royal Stadium and build another one up there. But Kansas City, hey, look, man, I don't even want to talk about that because because if you're talking about using taxpayer dollars, I got an issue with that. So I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut for now.
All right. Well, Darren Smith, we love you having your mouth open on the Real Deal Sports Show because you always have a lot of information. How can people follow you? Please let us know how people can follow you.
Well, as you see on the screen here, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Darren Smith WHB. I cover the Chiefs, Royals, KU football and basketball sport in Kansas City, boxing, all that other good stuff. So if there's a sporting event in Kansas City, I'm probably there.
No doubt. Well, and I would say ex-UB coach Lance Leopold trying to get those fighting Jayhawks right.
Yeah, it's interesting. They had a over/under prop bet, 2.5 wins. I would have gone with the over. I mean, to me, how can you not win that many games? But yeah, I didn't take that. I should have taken the big KU at plus 30,000 to win the Big 12. They might not win it, but that was a good odds.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on the show. And I know it's an hour behind, so you had to be up and be ready by 7:15, 7:25 this morning. I appreciate you. Hopefully Monday we can get together. I'll treat you to lunch at Gates Barbecue.
Well, I'm gonna have Gates in the press box with him, but I'm never gonna turn down free Gates from anybody. So that's probably my guy. But I'll see you in the press box Sunday when you get there.
All right. Thank you very much. KC, Kansas City ESPN reporter Darren Smith on the Real Deal Sports Show. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thanks, Darren. Enjoy.
Have a great day.
Some money, man.
Me too.
Yes, sir.
All right, Fanatic, what we have coming up?
Yeah, hey, it's time for that good old NBA segment. Crazy fast approaching. NBA season starts on Tuesday. So I'm telling everybody, you want to win some money this year? Hey, Nikola Jokic, he's looking to become a 3-time back-to-back MVP. I'm not taking him. If you want to win some good money, great opportunity. I know we're going to talk winner's edge. Hey, look at Zion Williamson. I think he's going to have a great season. His issue is always just when he plays. Hey, I think he's going to play a whole lot this year. Hey, look out. If you want to take some good odds, a little bit of a long shot to win some money, Zion Williamson, I think personally will be easily in the top 5 MVP vote. I think we might be a little bit of the fatigue on a Nikola Jokic. I know Joel Embiid has played a ton of games over the last 2 and 3 seasons consecutively, which is a lot for him. So he may pull back. Giannis has won his. I think we might be looking for a new story. And I can tell you, Zion down here, he's been laying off the red beans and rice a little bit, looking a little bit cut up. I like the Pelicans overall as a team, top 4 team in the loaded stacked West. And Zion is a great MVP candidate.
Excellent. In Major League Baseball, keep an eye. Padres upset the Dodgers last night. They're up 2-1. The Braves got upset by the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies, a guy told me last week, he said the Phillies, they score bunches. They either get shut out or they score a whole bunch of runs. And they did that in the 9th inning against St. Louis. They were down 2-0. They scored 6 runs or 8 or 10 runs in the 9th inning and blew them out 10-2 and scoring all their runs in the 9th inning. They seem to just score in bunches. And they scored last night, 9-1, blowing out the Braves. I was a little bit taken back. I thought the Braves pitching was a little bit better than that. But hey, Braves might be looking outside in a minute. They might be out of it because if they don't win today, they're in Philadelphia. They'll be going home. Yankees and Guardians, another good series going on. Take the under. I'll take the under in that. I don't see a lot of runs scored in the Cleveland Yankees series. Take the under if you're betting on that game, on that series. I'll take the under the next couple of games if it goes a couple of more games. Take the Astros, of course. Astros are handling their business. I think they'll sweep Seattle. Take that plane ride out there and sweep them and come on back to Houston and get ready for the next opponent. Baseball is great. RealDealSportsShow.com. Go to the website, click on the Winner's Edge, and you can see all of our betting opportunities for this week NFL games. But the Buffalo game, I gave that away last Sunday night. Take the over. Just like Darren already said, take the over 54. I see both teams possibly being in the 30s. One of the teams is going to be in the 30s. Hopefully Buffalo will be that team. It will be in the 30s. Take the over 54 or over 56, depending on where you're betting at. So check out the Winner's Edge, RealDealSportsShow.com. RealDealSportsShow.com. Go to the website, click on Winner's Edge, and you'll see all the NFL games on there. I got another second one. I like the 49ers to win over Atlanta, to cover the spread, and I like Minnesota to cover the spread against Miami. Miami talking about a third string, fourth string quarterback starting. I think Minnesota, Kirk Cousins is great on Sundays. He may not be good on Monday nights or Thursday nights, but man, the guys show up on Sundays and usually do a good job. It's going to be warm weather down there. I think they're going to go over the top. Minnesota look Justin Jefferson. That guy might have a 200-yard game against that porous Miami Dolphins secondary. So take that one. Last but not least, the Ravens. I think the Ravens are starting to get a little mad about their defense. I think it's time for the New York Giants to kind of slow down. I think the Ravens get them on Sunday. So those are just a few of my picks. Anything great you have, Fanatic?
You know I do. Hey, I got a parlay. I think it's gonna hit. When I say I think it's gonna hit, let me tell you, I'm gonna win you some money right here. I love sitting. I looked at my spot, 6.5 for the Eagles. They're at home, their favorite. I'm taking the Cowboys. I think it's gonna be a nip and tuck, close game. I love that. And then I'm taking Seattle. They're at home at a 3-point dog. I like them both this week. So take them on the parlay, win some money. Backspin was that big game.
I like that pick, my brother. I like that Cowboy pick, my brother. I was gonna sit my Dallas defense this week, but I'm not. I got faith in them. I think we're gonna give Philly their first loss of the season come Sunday night.
All right. Now, I want to be clear. That was Backspin talking. I didn't say that.
I said it.
All right. He said it with his chest.
Philly will fall Sunday night. Okay.
That's gonna be a good one.
I like it. Hey, I wouldn't be too surprised. Dallas has an elite defense. Elite like Backspin.
There you go. I like your thought process, my brother.
There you go. Subscribe, follow, and like the show on Facebook, Real Deal Sports Show. The website, RealDealSportsShow.com. Check out our gambling page, The Winner's Edge. But subscribe and like on YouTube. Follow us on our Facebook page, Real Deal Sports Show. And Backspin, I was out getting the paper. One of my neighbors walking his pit bull this morning. Shaquille says, "Hey man, tell Backspin to tear it up this morning." He said he on it. He listening right now. He ready for you to get it on.
That's what's up. Tell Shaquille over there in the 19th Ward that I got him, the west side, the east side covered, the south side, and the north side. We turning it all the way up in the back of time. Make sure. You know how we do, Rad Man.
Yes, indeed. And we'll be back next week. Me and the Fanatic with the Real Deal Sports Show. We're going to give you some more covering sports of all sorts and recap the Bills-Kansas City game and also the MLB playoffs and other sports as well.
Aaron Judge, get it going, baby.
Wake up, Aaron. He got tired hitting those 62 home runs. He can't even make contact with the ball now. Good gracious.
Real Deal Sports Show right here on the B1055. Y'all make sure y'all tune in every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. right here on the beat. Keep it locked right where you got it, Rock City. When we come back, you already know the back of time mix show is on deck. And you know we bring in Rakim and Styles P, October 29th, right here at Water Street Music Hall, 204 North Water Street. Keep it locked. It's the beat.